I want to take this and turn them into something small and compact. How did it go? Well, you might be surprised because the thermals and performance were great, and I want to show you that, of course, but there was definitely one thing that surprised me that isn't normally the case when we do small form factor builds. And by the way, a special thanks to AMD and ASUS for sponsoring this video and letting us find all of this out. Let's jump in right here, right now on Robeytech. Today, I am excited. We are building, and huge shout out to AMD and ASUS for sponsoring today's stream. We are building an SFF 9060 XT build. So trying our best to basically have a build that is small form factor. Let's talk about what we're putting inside of this bad boy though, because this is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about this. First and foremost, we're using a lot of ASUS parts. So first thing is we're using the RG Strix B850-i gaming Wi-Fi motherboard. Not their newest, their Neo or anything like that, but still absolutely great board. For small form factor, it has all the things that you kind of want. Some good number of fan connections. You've got access to Gen 5 NVMe if you wanted to. And then of course, sticking on the fact that we're using a 9060 XT, we're gonna use an oldie but a goodie, the Ryzen 5 9600X. This is a absolutely phenomenal CPU, pairs well with the 9060 XT 16 gig we're gonna be using inside of this. And all in all will work great at both 1440p and 1080p gaming. We're also going to be using a nice card because I want to fill out the entire Terra. I actually have a number of 9060 XTs, huge shout out to AMD on that. But ASUS sent me the ASUS Prime 16 gig RX 9060 XT. Nice big size card. Great for small form factor, no RGB or anything like that. And then we have the Kingston Fury. Now, this is someplace where if you wanted to save some money, Patriot actually has a better option here. You could find something for closer to $149. This is a very expensive NVMe drive. Obviously with NAND and DRAM being so expensive, that's why. Now I would actually almost say that I'm not entirely sure that spending this kind of additional money for the DRAM support is worth it. But again, here you have it. And then again, we're gonna use the Crucial 6,000 mega transfer. This is their Pro kit. These are non-RGB. There's no RGB that you can really see through the case. So we're just kind of doing what we need to do to keep it nice and simple. We're using one of my favorite, I love this PSU. It does actually have RGB on it. I just realized that. So we have a little bit of RGB, so we get some frame rate back. This is the ROG Loki SFX-L PSU. This is a 850 watt platinum PSU. For those folks who don't know, basically platinum just is talking about its efficiency. And then this might look familiar, maybe not. We are gonna let this shine through. There is an all black version of this, but this is a very, very important. This is the CryoRig C5CU. Amazing what this thing is actually able to cool. We were able to cool a 9800X3D with this thing. It's a nice low profile cooler. Yeah, I like this color too. I think this is gonna be a nice one. So anyway, there's our build. The cool thing about small form factor is everything just kind of fits on the table. And then of course we're using the Fractal Terra. We've used this case so many times. It's such a good case. So that should be, if you've never seen it before, you will when we unbox it a little bit later. But let's get our Mobo put together and go from there. Here is our beautiful CPU. Now rumor is, and I don't know if this is true or not, but rumor is we got new versions or refreshes of these coming out very, very soon. The 9650X, the 9650X and the 9750X is the rumor. Okay, let's get our NVMe in. Oh, there's no thermal paste in this. Okay, that was, wow. Nope, this is not working. And then this goes on top of it and you have to like line it like that. See? Interesting. So there's our CPU fan. Now these are all gonna get cable managed. There's this, and then we'll make it look nice once I get it inside. And then the good thing is we can actually daisy chain off of the RGB. And this actually comes with 2 RGB headers, which is pretty crazy for a B850 motherboard. Let's undo our case. Okay, There it is, guys. I got a letter at the top that's probably congratulations, I got the golden ticket, now I own Fractal. It's stuck. We can't get it out. It's doomed forever. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna take our top off here. Wow, that sounds bad. So let's pull this off, and this goes right here. And just like that, first component is in the case. Let's grab our PSU. It's very shiny. That looks really cool. That's gonna look great in there. Okay, here we go. Can we make these work?
The dark side of the hamster.
There's our PSU. Looks good. Okay, so this is now in. Dude, that is very clean looking. This should just fit, guys. That GPU is the GPU we built everything around, the 9060 XT. This is the only thing I find tricky about this case is just these thumb screws. They are a pain. I really don't mind everything else, but those thumb screws can be quite difficult. There we go. Yep, it's perfect size for this case. Last part of this is this right here. There we go. There it is, guys. Build is done. It's done. Literally, it's finished. That is the whole build. And time. It was like, that went way faster than I expected. Nice, easy, small form factor build, which is a lot of the parts we chose specifically to fit with this case, right? Which makes it a little bit easier. We didn't stretch the case or do anything like crazy from a performance standpoint. Nice and clean, and boom, just snaps no problem. Okay, there we go. There, ooh, it lit up like crazy over here, Brian. There it is. Look at all that RGB. Look at that. I like the thing. I think, you know, if I was gonna choose any color to go with this, I think blurple. We just don't do it a lot. Okay, so now let's go check our temps. Let's just start a multi-thread, see what this does. It's gonna be 76, 77, it might get up to 80, maybe in the 80s, but yeah, no, that's fine. It looked warm, it's just got a warm idle temp, but it's doing a good job of keeping the temp under control. Yeah, this is gonna be fine. Even under low, this is gonna be fine. But this is the good thing about, you know, this stuff. I bet you I could probably do a 9700X this way too. So if you wanted to go up even to a 9700X, you could. Through this, which is great. It's getting more than enough airflow, just pulling it in and then just exhausting it out of the top. So you can feel it up there. So it's just blowing off to the sides there. So because it has like a guard, so it's basically blowing it out through the bottom and through the top. And then again, temps wise are staying right into the 80s, 81, 82, but still not any problem whatsoever in terms of keeping temps. Okay, so let's take a look at gaming temps here. And we're getting 86, 85, 86 FPS, which is great. So if you're gonna do this and take this as like a portable gaming rig for 1440p gaming, this is great. I feel like the temps may not be accurate, I'm not sure. But yeah, this is completely playable, guys. So if we wanted to, let's try this. Let's go to Ray Tracing Ultra. We'll go to FSR 4. Let's try it on balanced. So it's pretty close to 60, 55, 56. Then we're going to 63, 64, which is great. We'll play some World of Warcraft after this just to see how that runs. And there we go, guys, 66 frames per second right there. So, I mean, again, this would be a really good, this is close enough to 60, this would be a really good frame gen experience if you wanted to. And you could play basically Cyberpunk completely stacked if you wanted to right there, which I think is awesome. There we go, so we're getting 81 FPS, 110. CPU temp is 73, which is fine. GPU temp is 58, so nice and frosty. There it is, guys, the AMD 9060 XT SFF build. I cannot believe that this build only took an hour. Usually When I work on small form factor builds, it's a significantly longer process. What I learned though is that if you really plan your parts to fit well within the constraints of your SFF case, like in this case, the Fractal Terra, and you use a PSU that has really malleable cables, then two of the largest things that are going to impact a small form factor build are going to get taken care of. Number one, cable management, which we were able to reduce using the much more malleable cables, choosing a CPU that worked with a low profile air cooler like what we used in the build, and it can cool without using any additional fans, which was important. So we thought a lot about the thermal constraints and the parts. And the second was fitment, or more specifically, getting all of this cool stuff inside of a very small case. I chose parts that are powerful, but also reasonable given the form factor and case. So I didn't have to adjust the case, work extra hard to get all of the PCs to fit inside of the Fractal Terra, and in the end, it just went together so beautifully. It was probably one of the easiest small form factor builds I've ever built, and the combination of the 9600X and RX 9060 XT from AMD really performed well inside of this case. Not only could we push the build to max thermally if we wanted to do like a little content creation work, but also for gaming, this thing was running Cyberpunk 2077 at 1440p with ultra settings and ray tracing at near 60 FPS, meaning it would feel great if you were using FrameGen, and it would look amazing the whole time you were playing. And that 16 gigabytes of VRAM give it plenty of room to chew on AAA titles like Cyberpunk with no issue. All in all, I am very happy with how this PC came out. And again, huge thanks to AMD and ASUS for sponsoring this video and live stream. Thanks again for watching this one. And if you want to see more builds with all different types of chassis and components, make sure you like and subscribe both here at Robeytech Live and also at Robeytech. And also, if you like this build and you want to ask additional questions, why not join our Discord server over at discord.gg/Robeytech. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode or live stream.